Hello, Local 304. Time for our hopefully weekly update on what's happening with Local 304. I know sometimes things get so busy we don't have an opportunity to get squeezed in a week. So this report may be a little longer since we missed last week. There's a lot happening in Local 304 right now. We've got several contracts being negotiated, several contracts in the approval process. Four Rivers, which is that combination of Lion Coffee and Radiant. Gator's been negotiating that, and they're back to the table again next week, making some progress on language changes. Flint Hills, we got a new contract there, so it's starting into the approval process now, getting signatures so I can get that one forward to the IO. Sunflower and Wheatland have been sent back to the companies for signatures. Local 304 signed off on them, and I finally just got the line clearance contract submitted to the IO for approval today. Westar contract books are being printed. I got the first little batch trying to get out to stewards, and then as soon as we get the majority of those back in, we can get them out to the members. So lots happening in the way of our contracts. CSR Summit is next week in El Paso, Texas, the 7th District CSR Summit. And actually, David and James Inman were at the gas conference last week and had very good reports from the both of them. I think the buzz is that gas is the new coal. Several cities in California, for example, have banned the use of gas, so everything will be total electric because they trying to get their carbon points out of that. So a lot more to come on that. We'll see what the future is going to hold for our utilities, right? Change subject for you. This is one of the first times I think we've talked about this, but we have that Reliance Standard company that does our long-term disability. So for those of you that hold those policies, if you ever have to submit for a claim for that, understand that Local 304 is the employer. So if you hand that to your employer, they're going to look at it and say, we don't offer this benefit, and that kind of slows down the process. So again, if you're going to file any kind of a claim under that Reliance Standard long-term disability plan, please contact this office and I will help you fill out the employer information. Line clearance. We've really been struggling recently with our it hasn't been recently on the dues issue. That's been an ongoing issue. What happens is so frequently that the employers are sending the contractors into another local union's jurisdiction or even a non-union jurisdiction, and so then we no longer get the per capita. Working dues are sometimes still taken out, so the assessments are paid to the local union they're working out of, but Local 304, the home local, is not getting anything. And so this becomes a very confusing issue because after a period of time, we're placing you on honorary withdrawal, we're not having any communication, and we're not getting any dues, and so we put you on honorary withdrawal. Well, then that hurts your benefits. So if you've got line co benefits, then all of a sudden those benefits cease. If the local that you're working out of tries to put you in the IRTS system, then it shows you on honorary withdrawal, and the international won't accept that. So we really got to work out a way that you guys stay in touch with us. If you leave this jurisdiction and work somewhere else, your per capita still needs to be paid. So for a BA member, that's $19 a month, should be paid to the local union. That way we can keep your membership active. Make sure that you have been IRTed so that you have that electronic reciprocal benefits going across. So stay in touch with this office. You're going to be seeing a lot more because I'm going to go ahead and go back to having Chris, our accountant, send out those delinquent notices on the line clearance dues. So when you start seeing those notices, be in contact with the hall so that we can figure out how to get you reinstated or keep your membership intact. So more information to come. We're hoping to develop some sort of a little flyer or something that as we get applications for new hires, we can explain the process and hopefully we can work through this. I'll give you a couple of Westar updates. Still meeting the fourth Thursday of every month to talk about all the different issues, including you've seen all the commercials and ads that show that this is all going to be one company, and obviously we know it's not at this point because you still can't bid across. Excuse me. So we had some of that conversation again yesterday. Still, the company's still trying to work through all the bugs of benefits and retirement and how all those things can flow across. And we are talking about Wolf Creek KCPL and Westar Energy. So it's a pretty big undertaking to make all that happen. So still working through that, and of course the changes in safety rules and the changes with IBEW. So let's talk about safety rules. Local 304 did file a grievance on the implementation of the FR clothing allowance, the safety toe boots, and the safety eyewear, along with the two-man hot crews. Those rules do not, and I repeat, do not go into effect until January 1. And we are grieving that. And if we wind up in an arbitration, I've asked the company not to implement until we work through the resolution of the grievance process. So please keep that in mind. Do not put yourself in any unsafe condition. Do not put yourself in a way that you're violating the agreement by working two-man hot crews. So any questions, please contact your steward or the hall for more information, and we'll keep you informed as we move through the grievance process. IBEW, as you know, we had a subcommittee that met, and the subcommittee's efforts were fairly limited just to develop the frequently asked questions, try to help in how the presentation is going to look like in the rollout when it comes to the service centers. So that still leaves a lot of uncertainty to the members. And we know when we have uncertainty, then what happens is we start filling in the blanks. So there's a lot happening right now. I've asked the company again to bring the subcommittee back together, because when you saw the funds that Sageview picked, some of those have some fairly recent start dates. So we want to find out more about what criteria Sageview used, and so that we can feel comfortable that we've got the right funds in place. There's still a lot of talk about the admin fees, and obviously that's something that some of the funds, I should say, do have a higher, some have a lower, and so again, we'll get more information as it gets closer to the time, but I know how tough that is for lack of communication. So trying to find ways to get through that. I know there's also some conversation about how I can roll part of my monies over, and that's kind of a complicated tax issue, so I haven't been too vocal about it because I want to make sure you got the right information. So we do have financial advisors that we use, and I'm currently working with them to get the answers for exactly how the process works and what, if any, tax implications are there for you. So more to come on that, but please, if you have questions specifically, we do have Brad Stevens with Principal Financial Group that we use as a subject matter expert, and he understands IBEW, and he certainly understands the current, both the pension plan and the current Vanguard annuity plan. So questions, please bring them to us. Don't let this uncertainty drive bad information. A couple things going on with organizing. We have, and I know I talk about this just about every single video, but we've got internal and external targets that we're always pursuing. Some are getting closer than others. Now that Wolf Creek is under our umbrella also, we are obviously expanding our organizing into Wolf Creek. And so that means that we're going to be looking for members to help support whenever possible. So there is an organizer training coming up beginning of November, and the e-board last night approved sending some folks there. So please contact the office if you're interested in more information about that training and more interested in helping with organizing. The larger we get, the stronger we get, and then the more bargaining power that we have with that, so, and communication. So contact the office if you're interested. Again, that organizer training is coming up the first part of November in Oklahoma, so it's not like we have to fly somewhere to get it, so that'll be nice. Again, under Wolf Creek, I know Wolf Creek is in outage right now, and so we're not as active there as I'd like to be. I did send out a welcome letter to the new members. Still trying to get the website set up so that it's user-friendly for Wolf Creek also. So bear with me if you're trying to get on there and you're not seeing anything. It's because I'm still trying to get all that information uploaded. So Wolf Creek is now part of the family, and we want to make sure that we've got all the right information out there. Last week, I think time flies. I think it was last week I attended the National Gas Rodeo held in Missouri, and Local 304 had one 4-man team and 3 2-man teams that participated, and everybody had a great time. As a matter of fact, one of the teams placed 24 out of 38, so we're very proud of that team and all the teams for participating. It ended up that Kansas had 3 teams out of Midwest Energy also. So Kansas was well represented, and Local 304 was the sponsor for those teams out of Kansas Gas Service. So very proud of the guys, and we want to keep that momentum going. I'd love to see us get to a point like some of the other states are, where we actually have to have a competition amongst ourselves to get the teams that participate in the rodeo. Along the same line, we got the Lyman Rodeo coming up in just a couple of weeks. So you've seen on social media, the shirts are in, so they're going fast. So if you're interested in getting a shirt, please contact the hall. We've got our hats ordered, so we're hoping they'll come in the next couple of weeks so we can get them out. So stay in touch and watch your social media flow or page to see that happening. So I know I've given you a lot of information in a short amount of time, so we will keep you informed, and please, we're only as strong as our weakest link, so let's make sure we have conversation. One of the things I'd like to say in closing is that we should not let our emotions drive the facts. The facts should drive the emotions, and I know that's difficult in a time of change. So please keep that in mind. Talk to you soon, Local 304.